Hi, you guys. I am going to give you the most basic demonstration in order to create an extremely basic pinch pot bowl. This is essentially the bare minimum to your project, but I'm going to show you how to get here. I'm going to set this aside, and you will have your hunk of clay. This is probably too much clay for me, so I'm going to actually pull some off so I have a little bit smaller of an amount. The next thing I want to do, because it's just pulled right off the block, is I want to do what's called wedging. I want to wedge my clay into a ball. I do that by essentially, and there's not a lot of clay here, so it's kind of tough. But I'm gonna push down and pull up. So push down, you can see where my palms have actually pushed into that clay. I pull up. Same thing, push down, pull up, push down, pull up. This helps to get all the little air bubbles out of your clay, which is really important when you're throwing on the potter's wheel. It's not as important for creating a pinch pot, but it is really, really helpful. And it's also a good habit to get into. Now I have it in this kind of weird, almost triangle shape, and I need to get it into a ball. It's important to do as much preliminary work as possible beforehand. It just helps you out in the long run. If I wanted to create a bowl, I mean, it's not going to help me to start from a cube or a rectangle or that cone shape, but it will help me to start from a ball. So I do what's called the clap and slap method, and I'm essentially just slapping the clay as I'm rotating. It's kind of silly. Moving it around my hand, rotating the ball, clapping and slapping. I have a lot of these sorts of imperfections happening on my clay. I like to get those out of the way. Especially you guys as beginners, you want to get these out of the way because you're going to see them as you start to open up your pot. And they're simple to get rid of too, but again, as much preliminary work as you can take care of before you even get started is good. I'm not going to stress too much about it. And now I have my clay ball ready to go, ready to create into a pinch pot. So I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed. So I'm gonna do most of my pinching with my right hand, and I'm gonna hold with my left hand. Obviously, if you are left-handed, it would be the opposite. I am right-handed, so I'm gonna pinch with my right and hold with my left. With that, it is a slow process. I'm not racing to the finish line, and you'll see me kind of finish this quicker than I hope that you do, and that's just because I'm really familiar with clay. I want you to take your time to go slow. Again, I'm not taking my thumb and shoving this inside. You will be unhappy. I'm moving slow. I'm pushing down. I'm also supporting with my hands over here, and then I'm rotating right around the palm of my hand here. So I'm pinching mostly downward. I'm not doing anything with this top area with my walls just yet. I'll do that in a moment. But I am pushing down with my thumb, again, slow process, and rotating. Push down with my thumb, rotating. These hands are supporting. When I feel like, and I'm just kind of using my left hand here too, that I've gone far enough, then I can start working on my walls. You don't want it to be this thick down there, and you can feel it. Like, you can feel how much thickness you have down there. I like a 1/4 inch thickness down for my walls, even what I have here. This is about a 1/4 inch thickness. So if you want to get out the ruler and do all that, you can, or you can just eyeball it. I can always pinch a little bit more on the bottom too as I get moving. But now I can start pulling my walls outward. So I'm actually gonna start and pinch my rim a little bit. Still rotating, still going slow. I'm not trying to shove this wall outward. I'm not trying to pinch as hard as I can. It's just really sort of, and it's a feel kind of thing, gentle pinching. I'm using both, so it's pinch, 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 pinch. You can kind of feel how it goes once you guys get started. Outward, outward, slow, continuously rotating. As I'm moving here, you'll see some of these things happening. I'm not going to stress too much about these things. If you're, again, a perfectionist, your finger does wonders. Like, it pushes the clay back over, making it smooth, making it nice. You can totally go over these areas, and then continue working. Again, working around, rotating, pinching. This is really going to provide me, again, with the most basic pinch pot form, which is oftentimes a bowl. I'm not getting fancy with my form at all at the moment. I'm just showing you the very basics. Some things that I want to look out for is an even wall. And again, you can do it by feeling. Like, I'm getting thinner up here, but down here is still pretty thick, so I know I can pinch more down in that area. It's probably hard to see my pinch marks inside the bowl, but as I'm pinching, I'm creating little pinch marks inside. Same thing with the outside of the bowl. You can see just how that's working. Always rotating. If you're not rotating, then you're going to have one fat chunky wall and one super skinny wall. You don't want that. You want even walls as I move around. Again, these little sorts of cracks and things might drive you crazy, and you can keep smoothing them over. I'm also not pinching this so super thin. Like, clay hates to be really thin. If I pull another piece of clay off, I don't need this rim to be that thin. That's going to be fragile. You guys have to transport this thing. You don't want it that thin. I like, again, my 1/4 inch thickness. You can also see I've got a little bit more to go on this bowl, so I'm going to keep going. But I'm not pinching the rim super duper thin. I used a little bit more clay on this one than I did for my previous one, so it's a little bit bigger, wider. It's okay though. Again, I can feel that my wall is pretty thin, and it's also even, which feels good, but I'm still a little thick on the bottom, so I need to get that pinched out. Sometimes it's hard because I don't have enough space. If you get really tall, it's harder to get your fingers down there and actually pinch that area without ruining the rim. I'm going to do my best here. I don't ever want to just pick up the bowl like that either, because the clay is still really wet and it will ruin my form. Some other things you can do about these areas, because I know it might drive some of you crazy, is put a little Band-Aid. So I took some soft clay and I can stick it over that area, and voila, it kind of fixes that space. Computer's going a little crazy up here. Hopefully it adjusts. I like to kind of clean up all of my rim. Again, I don't like that area there, so I can add a little bit of a Band-Aid. Smoothing over these areas, adding Band-Aids. You want a nice finished rim, but this is also a bare minimum pinch pot. Just my basic bowl form. The other thing that you can do, which I did with my other one too, is get a flat base. And by sticking it on here and kind of pushing down a little bit, will create that flat base. So if I flip this over, and I gotta be careful, I have my flat flat bottom there so it sits flat and it's not like a weeble wobble. And I can keep working and keep moving with this. But I think for my video's sake, that will give me Pinch Pot 101 here. This one's a little bit bigger, mainly because I had a little bit more clay with this. So good luck and have fun.